Wow, it's always nice to look back on our previous performances in Kinding Sindaw. And I'm always trying to think, is it too late for people to join us? Because we are currently in a pandemic, so I'm not sure. What do you think, Vivian?
No, it's never too late to join, and this pandemic is definitely not stopping us from dancing.
You do have a point. So why don't we tell our friends at home what it's like to be part of Kinding Sindaw?
So Kinding Sindaw exists to assert, preserve, reclaim, and recreate the traditions of dance, music, martial arts, storytelling, and the orature of the indigenous peoples of Mindanao, part of the Southern Philippines.
And we share these art forms with the community to increase social consciousness on the issues that are affecting IPs or indigenous people of Mindanao. And we also hope that the youth get involved in this work so they can continue to pass these traditions on for a long time coming.
Most recently, we did have an off-Broadway production at La Mama Experimental Theater Club, March of last year. And we've also had performances with Queensboro Dance Festival and live streaming recitals on YouTube, and also for other, hopefully more live streaming events coming your way.
We are still hosting dance classes every weekend via Zoom on Saturdays and Sundays. So Saturdays at 12 o'clock in the afternoon, New York time, and then Sundays at 6 p.m. in the evening. They're free to join. There's no membership fee. And the greatest thing is you don't have to be Filipino to join. Anyone and everyone can join us.
Yep. So what are you waiting for? Come on over and join Kinding Sindaw today.
All right. Awesome. Awesome. Thank you everyone for joining us tonight, whether you're here on Zoom with us or if you're joining us from Facebook Live. If you can go to the next slide. It's okay. It seems that the technology needs a little bit of coffee. That's totally fine. I would also like some coffee right now. And welcome everyone to our 19th episode of the Rinayung web series with Kinding Sindaw here on March 27, 2021. Or if you're 12 hours in the future in the Philippines, March 28th at 7 a.m. Philippine Standard Time. Thank you so much for joining. And tonight's theme is continuing the conversation on women activists and artists. Before we get into it, let me tell you a little about what Rinayung actually is in the next slide. So Rinayung is the magical boat of Bantogan in the Meronao epic Darangan. It travels distance, it can fly, dive into the depths of the ocean, and it can carry many things such as people, magical creatures, and plants. And Rinayung itself is a symbol of diaspora. So through this web series, we hope to not only focus on one aspect of Philippine civilization, but to really spread the message throughout the diaspora itself, as we are also part of that diaspora, and bringing you quality cultural education and also bringing you more social consciousness and awareness of the issues that are very much pressing today. Okay, Viv?
Oh my gosh, I have been mute this whole time. But I did want to give everyone some heads up and guidelines for the rest of the show. For those of you who are in our Zoom, just a heads up that this event is recorded and live streamed on Sindaw's Facebook page. So if you're not comfortable sharing your camera or speaking tonight, you can drop down your comments or questions in the chat so we can announce it to everyone on your behalf. And also when it's posted and archived, it's for Sindaw's purpose. And also a disclaimer, if there are any topics that come about today that might bring up discomfort to you or you have questions about, feel free to bring it up to me, Jerome, Poetry, or even Patty, so that we can address it later on in the future, or we can speak to you after the event so that we can understand why this might have been an issue and how we can progress further. Our goal here really is to have a conversation and to bring light into some topics that aren't brought about, but we do want to, make sure that we're being conscious of how everyone feels as well. And in addition to that, if you have any questions, feel free to drop it down in the chat if you're in Zoom. If you're on Facebook, feel free to leave it in the comment section. All of the co-hosts will be monitoring it so that we can speak on your behalf as well. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Vivian. So let's get right into it. And here's some menu for tonight. So my name is Jerome Valoria. I'm one of your co-hosts tonight, along with Vivian Chow, Patty Kilroy, and our artistic director, Putri Rangkamanis. We'll also go into what exactly is our mission statement here in Sindaw. We'll give a shout out to our funders. Then we also have a land acknowledgement from indigenous folks here in the U.S. as well as in the Philippines. And then we'll go right into meeting our speaker, Ms. Bai Jamila Tamano Lucman. We'll also have a Q&A portion towards the very end, and then we'll wrap off with announcements, any upcoming events and campaigns, and our closing salutation. Okay, next slide, please. So before I get into the thank you for the funders, what is Ginding Sindaw? We are a 501c3 nonprofit organization based here in New York City. We are here to assert, reclaim cultural traditions from Mindanao and to really give a voice to indigenous folks of Mindanao and Southern Philippines because they're traditionally not, I should say, not very much seen in the media. We're here to give education at a high quality, the right way, teaching oral tradition the right way, the dances the right way, giving you context behind these dances and how we can involve members of the diaspora in our work so that we can achieve justice for our population. With that, I would like to now give a great thank you to our funders. First and foremost, we have the Lloyda Nicholas Lewis and Reginald F. Lewis Foundation. They've been some of our greatest supporters since our inception in 1992 with Ma'am Lloyda as our board advisor and the board of directors. We also have La Mama Experimental Theater Club based in Lower East Side around by NYU, and we've been a resident artist there for many years. They've given us a space to really hone our art as well as bring our art to the world, bring our art to a different stage, and it's all thanks to Miss Ellen Stewart, who saw something in Poetry's work, and she knew that there was a place for us to perform here in New York City. So thank you so much to La Mama. We also like to thank Lotus Music and Dance, who's also been one of our long-standing supporters since our inception in 1992. They've helped us expand our network and also helped us bring some of our own guest speakers on to this Rinayung web series a couple months back in Our Land is Life, which you can watch in our Facebook archives. We'd also like to give a great big thank you to New York City Council, the Howard Gilman Foundation, New York City Department of Cultural Affairs, NYFA, or the New York Foundation for the Arts, Dance NYC, and Kidney Care of the Treasure Coast. Maraming salamat po sa inyong lahat para sa inyong suporta. Thank you so much for your support, and we hope to continue giving you quality work and programming in the future. Next slide, please.
Great, thank you. So for the next portion, we do want to give land acknowledgement of the land that Kining Sindaw is currently standing on, which is in New York, and then also acknowledge the land that we come from the indigenous folks. So I think first we will have. I think it's a video, but it's from one of our past speakers, and someone who has helped us to help us with the land acknowledgement here in America. Her name is Teresa Bearfox. She's not here with us today, but we do have her helping us with this part.
And Teresa Fairfax is from Hinandisioni, the Mohawk Nation, and she lives in Aksasini. It's reservation at the boundary of Canada and New York.
So give me 1 second. Patty will switch over the share screen to me. Let me know if everyone is able to see and hear.
Loud and clear.
Oh. Let me see if I can. Okay, there we go. Hi, Teresa. Welcome back again.
In the language, which is Ganyak Geha, the Mohawk language, I'm saying that women have good minds, women have good medicine, and women have a lot of strength. And Deodalit Salane is like the generations of the teachings that have been carried on from one generation to the next. So I hope you like this song. Yung kwa ni kong tiyo ni ya kyung kwe yung kwa nung kwa tselio ni ya kyung kwe yo we yung kwa zat san tselaya ni ya kyung kwe Neya kyungkwe ayo 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 weya we hana yo weya he weya he weya he we hana yo weya he weya he weya he deo dele telane Neya kyungkwe, yung kwa ni kong tiyo. Neya kyungkwe, yung kwa nung kwa tselio. Neya kyungkwe, yo we, yung kwa zat stan telaya. Neya kyungkwe, ayo, 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 weya. We hana yo, weya he, weya he, weya he. We hana yo, weya he, weya he, weya he. Deo dele tselane, neya kyungkwe, neya kyungkwe. Yokoa.
So that was Teresa Bearfox. Hopefully we'll get her live next time. And now we'll have a video from back at home. I think it's from Tita Lingling. She has been helping us with some of our weekend dance classes and is a tradition bearer as well.
Siti Arya Askalani is from the Tausug Nation of Mindanao.
Sus lupa su ulaan cinta usok marurong iwan ma isog asusulan lupa su lupa su malingkat dato salip inak ipat di kami maka ukat landu maku sugimba kakat lupa sugan dilan ulasing dayang dayang ninamu kalupahan landu namu kalasahan.
Sorry. Why is it not going?
Please bear with us, folks, while we manage some technical difficulties. But nonetheless, that was a beautiful land acknowledgement by our very own Siti Arya Obeso. Siti Arya Askalani Obeso. Sorry, let me get it right for you all. And our PowerPoint is back up and running. Thank you, Patty. So without further ado, let me introduce to you our speaker of the night. So we have Bai Jamila Tamano Lucman, who is a Muslim Maranao. She is the eldest child of the late Senator Mamintal Ayo Tamano and Haja Putri Zoraida Yaya Abbas of Lanao del Sur on the 30th of Libra. She maintains her standing in the Bangsamoro traditional community with the royal rank of Paalabi Adalomangkob, which means princess encompassing. Her father-in-law started the Bangsamoro Revolution during the Marcos regime. A graduate of Philippine Studies at the University of the Philippines, Diliman, she has masterly units in Filipino literature. Her poetry, Prophecy Beyond the Epitaphs, was published by UP Collegian. Her essay, Muslims and the Paradox of the Centennial, was also published by the Cultural Center of the Philippines in February of 1996 and has also been translated in French and German. Bai Jamila is also a well-traveled advocate of women's advocacy, being a member of various NGOs like the Philippine Muslim Women's Association, Women's Federation for World Peace, the Rotary Club of Makati, Legazpi, and Ranao Council. Her earliest training in the field of art was in elementary school. She had art lessons and JSMS PWU under the tutelage of Mr. Montero, who also taught the likes of artist Soler and R.M. De Leon. So without further ado, folks, I present to you Bai Jamila Tamano Lucman. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. How are you feeling today?
I'm fine, thank you. Assalamualaikum to my Muslim friends and relatives who are watching, and to my non-Muslim friends, a good morning to one and all here in the Philippines and maybe there abroad in New York. A good evening to everyone.
Awesome. So one of our first questions we have for you tonight, can you describe for us, how your upbringing shaped why you became an activist or an advocate, and also what turning point in your life made you go into advocacy work?
Well, first of all, my role model is my mom, Haja Putri Zoraida Abbas Tamano. At an early age, she became an advocate for women and has joined a lot of women's organization, NGO, non-governmental organizations, And she even founded the Philippine Muslim Women's Association to ventilate the sentiments of the Moro women. And from there, I was tagging along with her everywhere she went until I grew up and I learned that it was not only having fun meeting other people with her, but learning what advocacy for women is. And well, we attended a lot of conferences abroad, here in the Philippines and abroad, like um, the ones given by the United Nations for women, and we attended various conferences in China, in the States, in Denmark, those stuff. So my constant exposure to women, talking about women's um, problems, women's perception of their realities, have molded my views on how I see the world, and it is also depicted in my artworks.
Great. Thank you so much for sharing that. And it's really cool to hear that your mom was your role model, especially with the Philippine with the organization, with the NGO.
Philippine
Apologies.
Muslim.
Yes, thank you. I mixed the letters up. It's really cool that your mom was your role model, and honestly, having that sense of advocacy running strong through your veins from being a very young child has propelled you to your great career that you have today. I wish that I was that well traveled and that I got involved in advocacy that early. But for anyone who's watching, it's never too late. It's never too
Yeah, that's
late.
true. Yes.
And now I'd like to step into a little bit of the art side. Can you tell us a little more about your journey into becoming an artist?
Well, in elementary, I loved attending my art classes, and my professor there was Mr. Montero, was also the professor of two uh, artists here in the Philippines, Soler and RM. Soler is the son of Malang, so um, he was also um, one of the um, pupils of Mr. Montero, and of course my uncle who also paints and loves art is one of my models. He is architect Idris Tamano. He's the brother of my father who used to teach me how to draw figures of people when I was around 7 or 8 years old. And from then on, the constant exposure to beautiful things through traveling and going to museums have really um, infused a lot of um, experiences in my life, and it shows in my artworks.
By the way, Kaka Ed was one of our guests actually
Oh yeah.
few months ago.
Oh, that's good.
Yes, I remember that episode. It feels like so long ago, but it's only been a couple of months since we had him on our show. And
Mhm.
moving forward, one of the other questions we had, so we had the Marawi siege a couple years ago. And how did this event particularly affect you as a Muslim woman, as a Maranao, and then how did it also maybe affect your work in advocacy as well as an artist?
The Marawi siege was a shocking um, incident in the lives of the Maranao people. Um, the the Maranaos have suffered a lot because of this. Uh, Recently, when my mother-in-law, Princess Tarhata Alonto Lucman, passed away, I was able to enter the prohibited zone, the uh, they call it what's this? Marawi City, actually, the ground zero. They call it ground zero because on the going to the site where my mother-in-law was going to be buried, we had to pass Marawi City inside, and I was so shocked to see the damages that was brought upon by the Marawi siege. It was uh, the the buildings in Syria was better, look better during the war. I mean, compared to Marawi City, my God, the devastation was horrifying. Yes, the Maranaos are now scattered everywhere. Plus the pandemic, my God, we are really a sorry sight. We are really having so much problems that when you go to the refugee camps or the gyms where they place the um, the people during the first few months was was such a sorry sight, really. And cannot understand why this is happening. So in my artworks, I try to infuse what I see, what I feel, and try to share it with people. And although it's not really the it's my artworks doesn't really depict the devastation as like a picture, but more of a caricature of the reality. So after the Marawi siege, I made some paintings to express my sentiments as a Marana woman, as a mother, as a Bayalabi, and as a Muslim. If you were a Maranao living in Marawi City during that time, the Marawi siege, you will be horrified by what happened to your homes, to your belongings, to your relatives, and it was Ramadan at that time. So people really had a hard time. Anyways, I hope that people who see my artworks will feel what I felt at that time, like the Aidao, that my painting of Aidao and the burning Sarimanok, which symbolizes the Maranao people. And I another one is the mother and child, the mother carrying the baby. Anyways, I think you have photos of my paintings to show people about my artworks.
And we do. So, perfect transition. Thank you for sharing about your experience. And I tried to group these together as best as possible. So we wanted to sort of start off with what seems to be maybe your earliest works. Could you
Yeah.
tell us a little more about these paintings and maybe the medium you used?
In my early paintings, I used oil paint, but after that, I began to use acrylic because it dries faster. And as you can see, I have a lot of butterflies in my artworks because butterflies for me symbolizes freedom and flight, uh, and being able to express oneself through the wings of the butterflies. I am able to express the Maranao sentiments, peoples of the world being of different ethnicity, different races, converging to the moon, meaning which also symbolizes my religion, which is Islam. So there are many interpretations of my paintings. It doesn't only show off beautiful butterflies in a field of flowers, but there's a deeper meaning to it, like the one with the sword. It means and a sultan's turban. It means that there is peace and happiness during that time. There is peace, contentment, and the weapon of war is placed on a steady, um, well, it's hanging, and it means that it's not being used. So there is peace in that uh, time. Yeah.
Okay, I see. And I'm looking at these paintings. I see a lot of okir being used on the butterfly wings, and also I just noticed this today, you have some okir on the moon and star in the center photo. Is that sort
Yeah.
of your signature?
Yes, ukir, because the ukir is an art form being used by the Maranaos. And being a Maranao, I wanted to um, show off my through my artworks the ukir design. My paintings or my artworks depicts my religion as a Muslim, my ethnicity as a Maranao, our cultural heritage, and folkloric images of the epic Darangan, and my um my and my these are all infused with my contemporary worldview as my travels, experiences, and education inculcated in my life. So everything that I've experienced, I try to infuse it in my artworks. Yes.
All right, thank you. And then this next slide, I wanted to group the paintings that had the sari manok on them. So could you tell us a little bit more about these?
Okay. The one with the moon is a sari peacock. I call it a sari peacock. It's not a manok but a peacock because of its very long feathers, and it's a I always use the moon, not only because of my religion being represented by the moon, the crescent actually, but it also depicts women, how women are transformed or affected by the energies that the moon gives off, is also in my in in some of my artworks. And as you can see, the various colors that I use uh, is not really Maranao colors, but more on the infusion of the contemporary colors, which are muted. Some of them are neon. Some of them are what's this? Not the secondary colors, not the primary colors which the Maranaos use, but the secondary colors, the tertiary colors. Okay, and there are various um, images of the Sarimanok. As you can see, the burning Sarimanok is the latest, which was my um, which was my uh, which is how I depicted the Maranao people burning, because the Sarimanok symbolizes the Maranao people. And this was made after the siege, the Marawi siege. It has been 4 years, and up to now, people haven't gone back to their homes or built their homes in Ground Zero in Marawi City. The other one is the Novu Sarimanok, which is in black. I call it the Novu Sarimanok because usually Sarimanoks are colored, are full of blazing colors, but this one is in black. It is also very prophetic because, like the burning Sarimanok, it's as if the Sarimanok um, the Sarimanok or the Maranao have been all have been experiencing death, destruction throughout their lives since the coming of the Spaniards, the Americans, the war, during Marcos' time and up to the present. So the sarimanok doesn't only symbolizes beauty, but it also symbolizes to me our history as a Moro people. Like the Indians, we have been scattered all over the Philippines because of the non-stop war being waged upon us. Okay.
Thank you so much. And Patty, we can go to the next slide of, oh, okay, here we go. Ah, yes. And then we have this set of photos, which I believe are related to the Marawi siege, and we have the oak
Yes.
here. Mm-hmm.
Yes. I placed the ukers in the bombs, in the bullet, because I believe that these tools of war are specially designed for the Maranaos. Therefore, this symbolizes the special delivery, which is the title of the bombs, the special delivery to the Maranaos. And the other one is a caricature of a datu shouting, "I daw." "I daw" is an expression of the Maranao, which means pain. It can mean shock. It can mean a lot of things, this "I daw." He is covering his ashen face because he cannot believe that all the buildings, the houses have been burned, have been bombed, and all he can do is to shout, "I daw." The other one, which is um, represents women going to the mosque. As you can see, their clothes shows the different uh, war manifestations in their clothes, like the green wavy thing is the trails of the different um, vehicles that is used in war. The 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 little girl with polka dots, meaning to say the different the shots, the bullets being done to even little children, and the other clothes of the women are the directions of the bullets, the bombs, the missiles. And yet these women still believe that through their God, peace may be able to come at last. And they still go to the mosque to pray, to ask for peace. So that is how I depict this women going to the mosque. Excuse me.
Thank you. Before we go to the next slide of paintings, we had a question about the Maranao colors, and which ones are traditionally Maranao, and what significance do they have?
Maranao colors usually are prime colors: red, green, yellow. But as you can see from the bombs which I used neon colors, and I used pink, um, light green. So more on the secondary, and the use of neon colors gives it a contemporary effect.
Oh, okay. Great. And then, Patty, we can go to the next slide of artwork.
Okay.
Okay. I realize now the one in the corner, top right corner, we already spoke on. But then we have a couple other photos in here if you'd like to tell us the story behind them.
Oh, the lady playing the kulintang is a vision in my mind, um, that during times of peace there is kalilang, or festivals, wherein the kulintang is being played by a young lady, as you can see from her body, and the the scenery is in the on top of that's on that's in Mindanao State University, and overlooking the Lake Lanao, with the um, with the mountain ranges. Excuse me. The other one, this is the one that I was telling you about, is the bombing. This was done before the Marawi siege. A lot of people have been saying that this painting is very prophetic, because it speaks of the Maranao, not Maguindanao or Tausug, but Maranao, as you can see from the weapon beside the window, and the mother is crying for her baby's safety, and yet she feels that someday the baby will have a better future. So going to the three umbrellas, this means this symbolizes a happy life. It is entitled Sunny Day in Marawi, wherein the beautiful colors of the umbrellas with their beautiful designs are being used by ladies, by peoples, going out of their homes and enjoying the scenery, the sunlight, and the peace that has that that has um, that is now being enjoyed by the rest of the people there. So it's a peaceful time for the Maranaos, a happy sunny day. The other one is, as you can see again, it is like bubbles in a prison. So it speaks of the not only the Maranaos, but peoples who are um, being suppressed, being um, placed in a containment, where they cannot express their dreams, their sensibilities. It is entitled Gilded Dreams. So they can, even if the bars, the iron bars are gold, meaning to say they are given some privileges, but they cannot go out. They cannot really express themselves. Like women, they cannot really express themselves because there are so many hindrances in society for women to truly um, express what they want in life. The traditions, the religious religious things that makes them inside, feeling that they are inside a prison bar. Their It could be their husbands, it could be their brothers, or it could be society in itself repressing women, peoples, about their freedom to think, to express themselves. That is the meaning of my gilded dreams.
That's a very profound meaning, and I can definitely see that and how it applies to all corners of society. You know, making us feel like we can't have our own voice, we can't break free from those bars that you've depicted.
Yes.
Um, we also have one more slide coming up with your artwork.
Oh,
Yes.
okay. This is during my early painting days. I'm trying to express the like this lady over here is this is imprisoned. She wants to go out of that prison to experience life as symbolized by the balloons of different colors. And this young lady is also um, repressed sexually as depicted by the phallic symbol of the glass window pane. So there is not it doesn't only speaks of women's wanting to experience things, but there's also other innuendos in this painting about sexuality. The other one is this is a couple honeymooning and they are using a big malong. That's a traditional cloth, hand woven cloth usually, a big one, and um, they are having their intimate moments. The other one speaks of uh, the blue man, speaks of a very downtrodden person who has who is poor, who has no more um, as if he has nothing more in life to get. He is exuding negative energies. He, he is so miserable. His misery is due to what is happening in his society, that even his body is physically deformed. As you can see, his feet are both left are both um, left foot, so he is deformed. So this depicts not only the humanity, but also our history. Our history as a Moro as a Moro people. Our history has been depicted by non-Muslims, non-Moros, through their own perception. They have twisted it, they have contorted it to their wishes, to their interests. So as you can see, my paintings have very are a subtle, actually a sublime perception of my reality. It is a frozen construct of my realities. Although I cannot, as a Muslim, one does not depict the human form. Sometimes I this is a little transgression on my part, because I needed to express myself through this. And the other one, the lady cooking, she is in gray. Her world is gray. Nothing, it is not colored. She only escapes her world through her cooking. And that makes her life worth living. So it is the beauty, the richness of her cooking which makes her life bearable. So these are representations, these are symbolisms of how I construct my realities.
Thank you so much, Bai Jamila, for sharing with us your artwork, the stories behind them, as well as your experiences as a Muslim woman who is an advocate and an artist. And we can go ahead into the next slide. So as I mentioned earlier, we do have an open Q&A portion. So if folks on our Zoom call have any questions, please feel free to either use the Zoom chat. You may also unmute and ask your question directly. And if you're on Facebook watching this, feel free to put your questions in the comment section. Patty and I will be moderating both of those ends as well.
We actually have one from Facebook that refers to a painting before. The woman cooking on Facebook. Someone is asking, is this painting of the woman cooking mixed media? The textures are different throughout the painting. It's very intriguing. Can you speak a little bit to the media you used to paint this one, Jamila?
Actually, I used acrylic painting, acrylic paints, sorry. and I just use different techniques to bring about the different different textures.
They are really beautiful. Thank you for it shows
You.
a real range of brush technique the way you painted that one. It's really
Thank you.
wonderful to listen to you talk about them. So thank you so much, Shukran.
I have a question.
Yes.
Um, you know this couple that is in a malong?
Yeah.
Do you see what? I just wanna ask, not Jamila, ask everyone here. What do you think is that? Is that a caution or guess what is that?
I was thinking, and someone on the Facebook actually thought that was a banig.
Correct.
Oh,
Correct. It is a banig. Yes.
it reminds me of the one I have in my house. It's tucked away somewhere. I haven't used it yet, but I looked at the pattern and I'm like, I think that's a banig because it has what
Yeah.
looks similar to that. Do folks have any other questions for our speaker tonight? Whether you want to unmute yourself, put it in the Zoom chat, or in the Facebook comments.
How about the friends of Bai Jamila, Grace and Grace MD? There was somebody here earlier.
Lilibeth.
Lilibeth. Lilibeth left.
Oh.
So it's such a beautiful sharing because it's very encompassing, just like your name, your title.
Oh.
Beyond
Thank
art,
you.
beyond art, you really bring um, the depths of your thoughts and your feelings about what's going on in you as a Marana woman towards what is unfolding before us historically and also current threats of our being Maranaos. And it's very touching that your perception is captured with your with the colors that you're using and also how you depict it in such a way that it still follow the norms of Islamic art. There's no eyes, only the
Yes.
ears.
Right. Yes.
So maybe you can share a little bit of that.
Yeah. Most of the paintings I did uh, when I use human figures, I don't put the eyes because as they say, the eyes are windows of our souls, and we as Muslims we do not depict the the human form with the face with the face because it is the face that makes it um, a person which makes which makes it look like a person. So I usually don't put the eyes, but the human form is there, although it's very seldom that I put the eyes and the nose and the mouth. And most of the time I usually do sarimanoks, butterflies, because I really love the sarimanok and how it symbolizes a lot of things. in a Maranao's world and in our contemporary society, how it can be used or perceived by the viewer as an artwork, as a tool to educate, to enlighten other people with regards to what's happening in a perceived society, in a certain society. Okay. So the butterflies, I love putting butterflies because butterflies have different colors, different designs in their wings, and I can put in the ukir and draw my and make my own ukir. As you can see, my ukir is not the typical ukir, but it is it is my kind of ukir. It is a little bit different from the traditional one. So most of my artworks are really a fusion of tradition, traditional art, and contemporary. So as I am a Bayalabi, yet I'm also um, an activist. I'm also a woman of, as they say, a woman of her times. So I do believe in the beauty. I do believe in my traditions and cultural heritage, but I also believe that the new world has something also to add to those traditions. We should preserve our traditions, but we shouldn't be caged in in a box. We shouldn't think in a box. We should rather broaden our minds and accept changes which will not destroy our tradition but enrich our tradition. That's how I see my art. That's how I see how how I live my life. So traveling to other places has really broadened my mind and enriched it. And it is really a pleasure to be invited by Kinding Sindaw uh, to be one of your uh, guests, because I am able to impart my thoughts, my feelings, my sentiments about the historical changes in in my place in Lanao, and also what's happening in my world in Manila, in the Philippines, as a Muslim woman, as a mother, and as an advocate of women's rights. So, as they say, the hand that rocks the hand that rocks the cradle rules the world. So it is we women, we are the ones who make history. We are the ones who raise our children to see a different world, a world that we try to live by with our principles, with our ideas, and with our religion. So I hope that everybody who saw my paintings will enjoy, will react to it, and I hope that I was able to impart something of myself, a little bit of myself to everyone.
Yeah, you definitely did. So I think um, there is a website where you can look at her paintings. I'll drop it here as well. But I just wanted to thank Bai Jamila for speaking tonight about how she uses her artwork to tell the history and the current events right now of what's happening in Mindanao, and how she uses that to, I would say, advocate and share about the news. So I do want
I,
to close with some announcements. Oh, did I cut someone off by chance? Oh, okay, no problem. I do want to close the night with some announcements. Here you can just see some links for the typhoon relief, our Love for Marawi campaign, and also a Twitter profile where you can learn more about how to save Lumad schools and how they are trying to continue to preserve the education as well. And then there is a Linktree website for all of Kingston Now's activities, like our weekend dance classes, our Rinayung event, and our website, and some of the other things that we might be happening in the future. So be on the lookout for that. Um, a Oh, thanks, Betty. So once again, I want to thank Bai Jamila for speaking tonight. Thanks for those who are attending here in Zoom and also on Facebook for the very engaging conversation. And I think before we go, we would like to just close. If Potri, do you want to close for the night?
Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone. Assalamu alaikum. Thank you, Grace, MD. Thank you, Lilybeth. Thank you, Amik and Candy. Thank you, everyone, Jerome, Patty, Vivian, and everyone there in the audience. Hope you're gonna join us again for the next event of Rinayong. Tonight is very fortunate that we have Bai Jamila with us, bringing the voice of Maranao and Muslim woman, and how she facing the world with her messages in her painting as a Bailabi and as a contemporary activist and artists woman. So we're closing our month's theme for women activists and artists. And we're opening our Ramadan series, which is coming up. Ramadan is 18 days away. So Ramadan Karim to you, everyone, to you by Jamila, Amik, and Candy, and all the Muslims out there. Thank you, by the way, Anthony Tumpag, for joining us tonight. He's from Chicago, actually, running a museum. So, Assalamu alaikum again and Ramadan Karim. And let's close our program with our Kinding Sindaw salutation. In honor of our ancestors who created and transmitted this tradition to us, with open hearts, we like to take them in mind, body, and soul. And with humility, we bow as we use it to empower us as we walk our path. Before you all leave, we have to take a photo. Let's put our gallery on. We only have 7. Everybody left her. Grace, can you put on your Camera? Grace? Okay. How about, okay.
I'll just take a screenshot at 3. 1 second. All right. All right. 1, 2, 3. All right. Thank you, everyone. Have a good
Thank
rest of
you.
the day or night,
Thank you so
wherever you are.
much. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum. Ramadan Karim, inshallah.
Alaikum salam.
Thank you,
Bye.
everyone. Take care.
You too.